Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer Rob.
Sooner Terry.
And we are coming at you from the completely remodeled and amazing Podcast Palace in beautiful Norman, Oklahoma.
Where we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. And let's get all the good stuff out of the way first, Rob. You know, if you haven't got your Unhitch the Wagon T-shirts because of the big win this past weekend and the screaming of Unhitch the Wagons, go to www.unhitchthewagons.com. You can get your official licensed OU Unhitched the Wagon T-shirt. If you use sell code NATTY, which I don't think is coming this year, but we're going to use that code, you get $5 off the Unhitch the Wagon Pocket Tee. Also, if you listen to our podcast all the time, you know that is Fever Tree intro music, and their new album is fixing to come out. I think it's called Social Dysfunction or something like that. So it is due out here in the next month or so. It's social something or something like that.
Hey, how can you say we're not going to win a championship, Terry? I mean, come on.
Oh, we don't even want to talk about the game, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Do we? Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to talk about?
The Sooners lined up and kicked Oklahoma State's butt today in the Eastlake Cup Men's Match Play Championship in golf.
Yes, but they did win women's golf at the Eastlake.
We don't talk about Oklahoma State, okay?
And I'm pretty sure they probably won some meat judging somewhere.
Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State 3-2-0. One hole went to 19 holes.
Which he trailed in that.
The whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah.
Whole match. And did you see the guy miss like a, 3-foot putt?
I did not see it.
To take it into another hole. And
so the only place I could monitor this was on the Golf Channel, and they were not updating like regularly. So I'm like, oh my God, come on. And so I'm actually texting in to the ref, and I'm like, can you please update me on the score because I can't see it anymore.
I got to watch it right here on TV.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Sooners win. Big tournament. Yesterday they beat Pepperdine, avenged their national title loss.
Right.
So
they're pretty good.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
Pretty good.
Makes me realize I'm not as good as a college golfer either.
Are you sure? Because I got that picture of you. You look like you were doing pretty good out on the golf course.
Hey, taking care of business. Let's just get into it. Oklahoma shows up in Lawrence, Kansas, Rob, and does what?
It just boils down to this, Terry. They had one punt, and it came in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The Kansas Jayhawks had one punt in the whole game, and it was in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kansas first drive in the first quarter took more time than Oklahoma had the ball in the entire first quarter. Kansas had a 17 play.
Well, yeah. And
first drive.
I think they got 10 yards on every play, Terry.
Took 10 minutes, 10 plus or minus. I don't know exactly. Basically, I figured out 58 seconds per play is how long it took them because they stood there for 40 seconds on every play.
Well, that's the blueprint.
Holy crap. I took 2 naps during their first drive.
That's the blueprint to beat Oklahoma. Of course, nobody's achieved it yet.
No.
That's the idea out there.
Just stand there for 40 seconds.
Well, if we don't get the ball, we can't score.
and we damn sure can't take it away from you.
And it just so happened that in the first half, we really struggled offensively to find rhythm. And of course, the defense, not only do they not have rhythm, they don't even have an identity.
Yeah.
So everybody is struggling, but yet we're still winning.
Yeah. Oklahoma scored 0 points in the first half,
which is the first time in
I think
ever.
It's like 2014, I think, something like that.
First time for Lincoln Riley ever.
Yeah. I mean, 0 points. Were you ever sitting there going, "We're going to lose this stupid ball game"?
I didn't for a long time, and I think it was in the second half. I was like, man, we could really screw around and lose it, especially when they went down in 5 plays.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
When we scored and they turned around and marched right down the field and scored
like
again.
we weren't even out there. Terry, almost like, I mean, you have to try to be that bad. I mean, they could have just gotten lucky and there would have been a defender in the area of one of those passes, but no, that wasn't the case. And I'm like, they almost got to be trying to be this bad.
What? Here's the thing, Rob. You've listened to all the radio shows. You listened to Teddy and Gabe and all the guys who, let's face it, know football
Right.
a lot more
sure,
than we do, but they're not as fun.
Well, that's
but no, people are asking them on the radio shows, the football experts, what's wrong? Teddy Lehman was like, I don't know. Gabe Eichert on their I
don't even think Lincoln knows, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's like, how are these guys this bad? Remember, folks, Oklahoma was touted at the beginning of the year. They're going to, and we still could.
Finally got a defense.
The most improved unit in college football this year will be the Oklahoma Sooner defense. Look at what they did last year. They are only going to be better.
Right. Yeah, I remember the people saying that, yeah.
And you know what we did? We got that big old jug of Kool-Aid.
Yeah, we did. We are like dead last in every defensive category, I think.
No, Kansas is.
Oh, are
But
they?
we're dead. We're next to dead to last, basically.
Okay. Which is why we beat them, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it seemed like this team was discombobulated, didn't care.
Didn't care is a big part of it, I think.
I think that's just me. They played. They went out and they're like, "Sheesh, it's Kansas. We're gonna go out here, hang a 500 in the first half." Everybody was talking about, are we gonna get to see Spencer Rattler? How's he gonna do in mop up time? Well, guess what?
Yeah, Spencer Rattler didn't get a snap. We had to have them all.
I saw a text where somebody, it was on one of the local radio shows, about do you think that the Oklahoma offense played so bad because they didn't want to give Spencer the opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I don't buy into any of those conspiracy theories. I think we played horrible game, the worst game that we could have played, and we still won. I don't know how.
Yeah. I mean, I the first half, I didn't even get mad. I just sat there just disgusted at what I was watching. Just poor defense. Like you said, an offense that had no rhythm, and I get it. Caleb is a freshman. He threw the interception, threw it down the field. He had Brooks wide open in the flat.
Open for a first down.
But here's my question, Rob. You're down 10 points. Why is Lincoln even calling a play where there's a guy down the field? We weren't in that big a danger, but it was like even Lincoln was trying to take it by the chunk and just jump back in it.
Well, I mean, it's still Kansas, right? And they've given up. I mean, St. Mary's School of the Deaf would have beat Kansas last week. Well, maybe not last week, but right? I'm just
before
saying,
they played us.
You don't get out of your game plan because you started playing bad. It's Kansas. You're still going to come back and beat them. I guarantee that's what they were thinking.
Yeah.
We'll start clicking here in a minute, and it'll be
50
to whatever.
Here's the game plan. The game plan last week was that they took Monday off. Give the guys a break and da-da-da-da. They took Monday off. They started – the coaching staff started a precedent of this is Kansas.
Right.
Take a day off.
Well, I mean, it should have been, Terry, we should have been able to take Monday and Tuesday off, still come in and blown Kansas out.
I know.
Am I right?
Yes, I know.
So
I know.
But it looks like this team is just not good enough to do that. Would you agree with that?
I agree with they're not playing good enough. I still believe this team is good enough to play 100 times better than what they are.
Yes, I would agree with that as well.
Our offense has already shown that. Our defense just hasn't been,
Do you feel like some of that is that Grinch is getting out coached on that side of the ball?
Maybe he is. Maybe it is. Here's my thing. What do you think about this? Do you think, people have said, is it too complicated of a scheme? We had that excuse with, Venables and Stoops and Stoops again and Venable, but all this shifting and hiding and
it's not working.
It's not working. We're shifting and doing all this, deceitfulness instead of just pinning our ears back because we got the athletes. I am not going back into a life of Sooner football like we had in 2016, 17, 2015, where our defense, we didn't have as good athletes as what we have now. But they were good athletes and should have been playing better. Nobody could answer it. Nobody knew why. The coaches, we know they're good coaches, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Here we are sitting here 4 years later, and we got the same damn thing. We're sitting here watching the same thing.
And back then we were saying it looks like we're in a prevent defense, which you know what a prevent does.
Yeah.
It prevents you from winning. So why not bring the house? I mean, you're already getting burnt back there. It can't get any worse than it is. Bring the house, because when we've shown that when we get pressure on people, good things happen.
Yeah.
We get picks, we get turnovers, we get sacks.
Right.
And it looks like Nick Medino is the only one getting to the quarterback. It's like the rest of the linemen are taking like 2 downs off and playing 1 on, 2 off and 1 on. And that allows receivers coming across the middle to be wide open. And when I say wide open, no one within 20 yards of that one guy.
Yeah.
And I think even by accident you'd be within 20 yards of him, but I'm just like, I don't understand what's happening here.
Here, let's throw through these stats. First downs, Oklahoma had 18, Kansas 23. Third down efficiency, Oklahoma 6 of 10. That's pretty good. Kansas 9 of 13. Kansas was 9 of 13 on third down.
And they probably hadn't even had 9 all year.
Fourth down efficiency, Kansas was 1 for 1. We had to go for it on fourth down 3 times.
And we had to have a Superman play
to get that one to work. Passing, Oklahoma 178 yards. Kansas 246. Kansas had 246 yards on us. Rushing, Oklahoma had 220. Kansas had 166. They averaged 4 yards per carry, and they averaged 10.7 yards per pass. They had the ball 35 and a half minutes to Oklahoma's 24 and a half minutes.
Clock control, man. That's what everybody's been trying to do. Hasn't worked out for anybody yet, but it really should have.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of Western Carolina, right? We've been kind of given some gifts here. Now, I don't think Kansas actually gave us, like, who was it that snapped the ball? Kansas State snapped the ball 20 yards over the, and kind of gave us that game.
Yeah.
And I'm lightly saying that, but still, they kind of did. Kansas didn't do any of that stuff, but we still found a way to win.
Yep. Well, let's go into this, Rob. I put out on the old tweeter today that we were recording this week's podcast tonight, and it is entitled "Why Sooner Fans Are Upset with an 8-0 Team." Ask people to drop their comments, and so
I read some of those.
Let's talk about some of the comments. See if we agree.
Some really good points in there, by the way.
Some really good ones. Let's see. Well, look who's first. Old Sooner Lisa.
Sooner Lisa.
Should I use my Sooner Lisa voice? No, I don't want to get stabbed the next time.
Chicken.
Yep. These fans who didn't experience or have forgotten the Howard Schnellenberger and John Blake days, may they both rest in peace. Notice you put a little bit of honor there. Boomer Sooner 8-0. Have you forgotten about it?
I guess I must have had a little bit. I shouldn't have, because, boy, those were some rough years, Terry.
Yeah. But does it fit here? Do we just be happy we're 8-0?
Well, the difference between, right, is that in the Schnellenberger and Blake years, I mean, we were getting thumped. I mean, we didn't just lose; we got thumped by people.
We had coaches asking people to come down to O'Connell's to fight them after games.
Well, didn't we have open tryouts for kicker in some of those years? Like, can anybody kick? Because we kind of need somebody.
Big Jim says, I'm happy with the record, just nervous about the rest of the season. And a lot of these are responses to other people's tweets onto it. Jim Dillingham in Fort Worth. This was supposed to be the year to win it all. We still can't. We can still get going. It's going to be tricky with the defense. On the other hand, I'm glad the offense is back after being AWOL. They came back in the fourth quarter.
Well, I think probably what we agree on, what we see is the offense has potential, and I think we see that in the offense. I mean, we got an outstanding running back, and that's Kennedy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't think Eric Gray's all that good.
He's average.
He's average.
Yeah.
I think we got better than average receivers, and I think we got a stud at quarterback. So I think there's potential that we see in the offense. I don't think we see that in the defense any longer.
Yeah. I don't even know what that was.
Your fairy wings, you got your wings or something.
My fairy wings just sprouted. If y'all didn't hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, defense is also, I think this defense is attitude. That I'm going to line up. It's the same type of attitude as an offensive lineman. An offensive lineman, I'm going to line up every play and I'm going to kick your ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Defense is I'm going to line up every play and I'm going to take you out. This defense doesn't seem to play with that type of intensity.
I don't think so either. And to be honest with you, if they play another game, I know we're 8-0. If they play another game like they played, we're going to go 0-4 and go to the Butt Stripe Bowl or something. I don't know. And play Boise State or some crap like that.
Yeah. Defining Moments podcast, they put a statement on here. Figured we'd be excited to be tested every week regardless of who we play. When you are the premier, you get every opponent's best shot. Even East Popcorn State will try their best and shut them out. The strength of our team should be tested each practice, weekend, on and off the field. Maybe that's a good point.
No, he's absolutely right. Yeah. We've said it. We've been saying it for a long time that our last year in the Big 12, everybody wants a shot at us. We were back to back to back to back to back. Was it back to back? Big 12 champion. Everybody wants to take us out. I mean, that's no doubt, and we got to expect that, don't we?
You're Oklahoma. I mean, and Lincoln brought that up last night after you left, Rudy's. You're excited for it. That's what you come here for. Everybody is giving you everything they've got, but Kansas should be, I don't know, like a 6A high school team playing. I don't know, but and to their point as well. How much are they being tested in each practice? Or how intense are these practices?
It doesn't look like they're practicing at all, Terry.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you the best thing that happened at the game Saturday, and I love
the lights came back on.
No. It was after that.
They gave away free tickets.
They put it out on all points bulletin all over the campus. Come watch your Kansas Jayhawks upset the number whatever
2 Oklahoma Sooners.
And so they had hundreds of people.
Yeah, and I think it was Teddy was saying on his radio show. He goes, literally, people were walking out and walking down the street, coming up to the game, and Ty was like, "Funny thing is." The tickets for that game were $5. Oh, let's get to another one. Our buddy Wild Bill, he's the one who made us the Tailgate Like a Champion T-shirts. Wild Bill OU, I'm not upset. Things could be better, sure, but the one thing that can't be better is the record 8-0. So I'm enjoying these wins, even if they are not coming as easy as us fans want them to.
It's another good point.
It's a good point. I'm happy with the 8-0.
Well, of course you are.
Yeah, and I'll get into we'll get into our points on this a little bit later, but as to, I don't think you and I are on the same page because whether people believe it or not, you and I talk to each other other than on the podcast,
Right.
so I think our minds are on the same spot.
I mean, think about this, Terry. Before we go on, we're 8-0. We could very easily be 4-4 right now. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah,
I mean, without a miraculous second half at Texas, we lose that game.
yeah,
I mean, without a pretty bad snap there at Kansas State, we probably lose that game.
yeah.
If we don't,
Without Caleb Williams coming in,
without Caleb Williams snatching that ball out of Kennedy Brooks' hand in that fourth,
may have lost
we
that.
might have lost that game. I mean, we could easily be 5-3, 4-4. Just
Barbara E. Fuller, her on Twitter is Sooner Dreams. I'm not upset with the 8-0 Sooners. I'm upset with the media, the polls, and yes, the frivolous so-called fans. A win is a win, period. To drop in the polls is just ridiculous. The same standards are not applied to all teams, Cincy, Bama, etc. I'm all in for my beloved Sooners.
I don't know that I necessarily agree with that.
No.
That take. I want to.
I want to.
But here's the deal. Alabama has looked unbeatable, and then they go into Texas A&M, which is a tough place to play. There's
Get beat.
109,000 people there screaming. Yeah. That's a tough place to play.
And marching around with did you see the video? They're marching around with torches and carrying giant jack-o'-lanterns.
I did not.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Well, they squeeze themselves on the sidelines. We talked about that.
It was those guys that were doing it. Whatever the squeezy nut guys are, they were
squeezy nut. That's their name. Yeah. From now till eternity. The squeezy nut guys.
The squeezy nut guys at Texas A&M.
That's it. That's what they will forever be called.
Yeah, they're marching down it's creepy. You have to find it. Tattoo Baker tweeted a deal out on it. So
listen, I'm okay with a good scratch, every now and then, but I'm not all about the
squeezy nut guys.
Yeah. So, but Alabama looked really, really good in all of their games.
Mm-hmm.
And, even in that game, they looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And we have looked terrible in every game except Western Carolina. I mean, we can't count that one.
Well, we did. We just couldn't tell it because it was Western Carolina.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's the difference in what the pollsters are saying. Well, man, Oklahoma looks really bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Alabama would school us right now.
But I think the pollsters and everything are still expecting Oklahoma to click. Mm-hmm. I think everybody thinks that if Lincoln wraps his arms around it, and we're going to talk more about Lincoln and some of the things he said here recently that is driving me insane. They believe. I still think we're going to go undefeated. I think we're going to win the Big 12. It's going to be hard. I think Kennedy Brooks said it. I don't think anybody wanted to hear it, but you heard what he said, right?
Nope.
That we played down to our competition in the first half. Okay. Lincoln Riley's teams have done that. They also play up to their competition. So, that being said, I think whatever we come across this year, we're going to overcome it through the Big 12. Then we're going to get into the playoffs and
well, there's several teams at the top that look really, really good right now.
Yeah,
Georgia and Ohio State look a level above everybody.
But Ohio State looked terrible.
Well, that's
for
true.
The first several games, and
Oregon beat them.
They figured it out.
Yeah, and we still haven't.
Yeah. Let's see what the beer goddess, Taco Tits Day. Adrian, our good friend Adrian. I am only upset because my resting heart rate in these close games is so high my smartwatch thinks I'm working out.
Right.
Who the hell works out and drinks that much at once? I love her.
No, I definitely empathize, or is it sympathize? I think sympathize.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of the I do both. I sympathize and empathize with her because, yes.
No. Yeah, I mean, game
day is supposed to be some of the best days of our lives here, Terry. And I'm just sitting there with my hands in my face in my hands, just
like-
shaking, like, oh Lord, what is happening?
Yeah. So, Joe Ray, Joe_Sooner Joe, replies, "Is our defense scheme too complicated?" We brought that up. When I watch the playback shows with Coach Riley, he is constantly mentioning how we continue to bust in the secondary and aren't lined up correctly and aren't taking the right gaps or angles on D. All seem fixable, but it continues each week. That's what I think what we were talking about, don't you? That maybe it's not. I don't think it's complicated. I think it's over disguised. You see what I'm saying?
I do. And we've said this before. I'm not a college football coach, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. Here's the thing. If you're in a zone, you're responsible for a piece of property.
Right.
It's not that difficult.
Right.
If you're in man, you get that guy, you cover him. It's not that
Right.
difficult.
But my point is, though, is they're working so hard to disguise that it's putting them out of position. What do you think? Possible?
It's certainly possible, but I think at some point as a coach you got to go, you know what? Scrap that.
Yeah.
Just go and hit him in the mouth.
Right. That's
You know?
our point. And see, and I mean, again, I played at the high level of 5A high school football. 4A high school football back when Oklahoma only had 5A. So that's how old I am. And I played defensive line. I played offensive line.
Man, you're really old.
Yeah, I am old. Number one, from my standpoint, I played center, and we all know that the blocking assignments work out, from the center out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, ours wasn't complicated. Our schemes weren't, but I called out a blocking scheme or whatever, called out what we're supposed to do. I'd have to listen to the tackles because they might call something back to the, all that fun stuff. Never bothered me that anybody shifted. Never. Okay. If somebody shifted, we just called it off and called another call. The most difficult thing we had was we had a block called a hit call, a hit block. We had to change the name of it because we kept jumping off sides when I'd call hit.
Oh.
We kept,
Well, that makes sense.
And it was basically if somebody shifted into a gap, I would call hit, to like Lance, hit Lance, hit Lance. Well, when you'd say hit, Howard on the end would jump. And it was damn it. So, but it never bothered me that people jumped around. Didn't confuse me. I knew the play we were running. The other thing on the defensive side of the ball, I hated the shift because I was already uncomfortable in a 3-point, 4-point stance, and making my fat butt move 3 yards sideways
Wasn't about it.
wasn't about it. And you had to move quick. Okay. My point is that I think Oklahoma, the speed D, is trying to disguise stuff and confuse stuff instead of just lining up and being speed D. Because nothing about what this defense is doing is speedy.
Well, it's working, the confusion part, because we're
They're
confused.
Yeah, we are confused. But Antoine says, because we will get destroyed by a team that has the same talent and coaching. That's a lot of fear, I think, of a lot of Sooner fans.
Yep.
Is that
Well, we got a pass-happy offense coming in this weekend, too,
Yeah.
that if we don't play better defense in the secondary, they're going to score every time they have the ball.
well, I mean, you heard what Gabe Eichert said last night on the huddle. If I was Texas Tech, I would never run the ball.
No. We play
What?
run decently.
Yeah. Just throw the ball.
Even if you throw it to the back, we have trouble defending that. But if you hand the ball off, I got pretty good confidence that we'll stop that.
Yeah. Terry Ruck, he's a listener and has great stuff. I'm pretty sure he's a lot better golfer than us, too. But he puts on here, OU is 8-0, and the majority of us have no idea who our football team is.
Mm-hmm.
We can we be Texas in the second half good or Kansas in the first half bad? OU has got to be more Texas in the second half to achieve all the goals this team has in front of them.
Yeah, it's like we're bipolar.
Yeah.
Right?
Apologies to all of our bipolar listeners out there.
Well, I'm not trying to make fun of bipolarism. For all you females out there. Oh, no, that was a joke. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but Big Rob.
I'm joking. But I
Sooner,
mean,
Lisa.
You understand what I'm saying is we play a first half like we don't know what a football is. In the second half, they come out guns blazing. So I don't know.
You just said it. We play football like the Andy Griffith story of football. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They had a pig scan.
So it's just so frustrating. But then you're relieved a little bit. Like when we came out in the second half against Kansas, I felt like, okay, we're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden they go score on 5 just uncontested plays.
Yeah.
Like embarrassingly uncontested plays.
Yeah. MJR Mason Jar Revival tweets out, I remember the Blake Schnellenberger and even Switzer from 81 through 83. It's not about remembering. It's about this coaching staff. The SEC will chew these guys up and spit them out. Plus, 8-0 against a 19-37 opponent is not impressive. Close games after close games. Yeah, the combined record of our opponents is a losing record, 19-37.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
So let me throw this out there.
Throw it.
If we were in the SEC this year, would we play up to the talent? And really our only win would be against Texas because, we always beat Texas.
Yeah.
Or would we, would we be 1-7 or would we still be 8-0?
Well, I forgot who it was. Maybe it was either Caleb or David. I can't remember. That said, when we go to the SC, we don't have a Kansas to have to play anymore, so we won't have to look like this.
Right,
again.
and so here's the question: are the guys all thinking, we're just done with the Big 12 and we're ready to go to the SEC and play real football?
Yeah.
We won't have to play these pansies like Kansas, and then all of a sudden you're
Kansas
fighting for
jumps
your
out,
life against
punches
Kansas.
you in the mouth.
That may be, Terry. That may be a very real, possibility. They're just like, whatever. Let's just get out of here and go to the SEC, and
like
all of a sudden you're in a game against Kansas.
Everybody has their snipers out in the Big 12 this year against OU and against Texas, and Texas is getting it handed to them in a couple of games, primarily by us. But we're going to show you.
Yeah.
Go to the SEC. We're going to beat you. Ha 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 ha. And
listen, let's just talk about Texas for a minute. Why don't they give Bijan Robinson the ball 35 times a game?
Because they're Texas.
I'm just telling you, if they did, they would not probably lose another game.
Just Okay Sports Podcast, our buddies over there, put not upset with the record, but with the level of play. We have seen what this team can do, and we all know this is not what they are capable of. So it is so frustrating. Then add to it the players and coaches saying things like we are so close, or I don't know why people are mad. Since they brought that up, I'm going to agree. Alex Grinch. This is his quote, Rob, during his press conference. Alex Grinch on the play of defense this late in the season. It's alarming because you're running out of time. There's a sense of urgency. There has to be. What does that mean? Okay, 3 months ago, this unit was coming together, and you got all these people that you're not worried about who you put out there, when you put out there, la 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 la. That was said. Now all of a sudden we got injuries, and we're having to put young guys in there. Wait, you said 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It's nice being in a position where I'm not worried about who I have to put in. Now you're saying I got these young guys. Now you're saying it's a sense of urgency. What do you mean a sense of urgency right now? It should have been 3 months ago.
Well, obviously he misjudged the talent level or the experience level maybe of those younger guys. And I certainly am not going to blame our defense's woes against the injuries.
Yeah.
But with DTY out and Woody Washington out, there's definitely been a drop-off in defensive play. So, having those 4 guys, Jalen Redmond, DTY, Woody Washington and who else is out?
Oh, Kevin Gilliam, Marcus Stripling, DJ Graham. Yeah, Jeremiah
That's
Cradell.
definitely hurt us.
Yeah.
It's definitely hurt us. Now, don't get me wrong. With them back in there, I mean, one or two plays, Terry, here and there can change the whole outlook of a game.
Yeah.
It can. Now, they played bad, but, if those guys were in there, I mean, it really could have went the other way. I mean, we could have blew them out. I mean, I'm not saying that we would have, but we have no idea how big of an impact just those 4 guys are having on the play of that defense.
Right.
Especially when you involve the leadership aspect of that, right?
Somebody else needs to step up then.
Somebody else needs to step up for sure.
Our buddy Bill, South Jersey.
South Jersey Bill?
Because this 8-0 team is a mirage that is not up to the Oklahoma standard. Oof. We were told that we would be competing for a national championship. Does anybody really believe that this is a top 5 team? Thank you for your time, and he'll listen to our comments off the air.
Well, those South Jersey people, they don't hold back,
Boy,
do they?
Really?
I mean, go ahead and just get it all out there, Bill, and tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, it doesn't even, nope. It's all a mirage. We're a mirage. He's not all the way.
He's
so
not
far,
wrong.
He's not wrong. It's a mirage. We were told. We're like the people of Jonestown. We were told.
Hey, we're not the only ones. Everybody in the world, because
Yeah.
everybody watches OU,
Yeah.
are like, how is this team 8-0? Everybody's saying that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know either, but we are.
Crimson Cleo.
Who I just followed on Twitter the other day, by the way.
I heard you talking about it. She's going to knife you in the
I
next
don't
time.
know. I thought I followed her years and years ago. But the button was just like, hey, follow me. And I was like, oh, okay, follow. And then she called me out.
No. So this, and again, if you know Crimson Cleo, she's a Bama fan, but is also would you call her a closet Sooner fan?
No,
Everybody kinda
she's
knows
like a transplant Sooner fan,
yeah.
I think.
Only because of
Jalen Hurts.
So, anyway, she has a great comment. This is a mark of a solid fan base that recognizes the importance of strong wins and doesn't accept just good enough. I like it.
I like it too.
That's how we are. Monty Cisco. Yes, we're 8-0. Like the team's resiliency, but there's a standard at Oklahoma. This isn't Tulsa University.
Well, you got that right.
Yeah, I got that right. Yep.
So while he brings that up, let's talk then a minute about Sooner Magic, Terry. Because
how much do we have?
I think that Sooner Magic is maybe part of the olds, right?
Yeah.
And we have aptly renamed it Sooner DNA or OU DNA.
OU DNA, yeah.
What do you think about that?
No. It's Sooner Magic.
Okay.
OU DNA is bringing in the best players, and they have that DNA to be a championship. Sooner Magic is when all hell's breaking loose, and somehow, some way,
You get lucky?
somehow, some way, Caleb Williams grabs a ball from Kennedy Brooks. Kennedy Brooks sees him out the corner of her eye and goes, "Oh, it's my guy," and lets go of it. That's Sooner Magic. That's not OU DNA.
That's not OU DNA?
No, sir.
With a drive to, hey, he's not going to get the first down, so I'm going to reach in there and get the ball, and I'm going to get the first down.
Yeah.
That's not Sooner
Has
Magic. OU DNA all
No.
rolled into one?
No, it's
Okay.
just Sooner Magic.
All right.
Okay. Maybe OU DNA is the fact that hasn't he had 3 4th and 1s that he's ran for touchdowns?
I know of two for
I
sure.
know it's 2 for sure, but I want to say there was another one. But
I don't think it was a 4th and 1 on the other one, but it
Yeah.
might have been. I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
But I mean, how much that's OU DNA.
So since we're talking about Caleb, let's just talk about him. Right? Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably won't get the accolades this year. I think if he would have come out against Kansas and threw for 370 or you
Yeah.
know and had
And let's face it, the first half he played like a freshman. He didn't make good
did.
decisions.
he made some bad throws.
Yeah. I did like what the broadcaster was doing. They were showing him before the game, and he was laughing and it was not just him, other guys too. They were
Right.
laughing, ha ha ha, and they showed him coming out at halftime and on the sidelines after halftime. there was no laughing ha ha ha.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
because I guarantee you, the coaches climbed all over them.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, you're about to lose to a high school girls volleyball team here.
You're about to walk home from Lawrence, Kansas.
Right? You're all walking home, and we're not giving you no food. So, that gets the lineman motivated, right? You tell the lineman he ain't getting no food, he's going to get motivated.
Wait a minute, Coach.
Hold up. I'm going to start playing now. Which, by the way, I want to bring up something funny about the lineman.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to do it now?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, if you're listening and you go to the game, you got to watch this because I sat right down there where they come out of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And, they put the big sign up, right? That the backs and the receivers, even some linebackers.
Jump and slap it.
They jump and slap it. You will not see an OU lineman jumping up there to hit that flag. I'm like, watch this. He's not going to. No lineman jump up and hit that flag.
Oh, nice. Let's get some more of these. A buddy of mine on Twitter says, we're upset because we know that we can't expect to beat a really good teams playing the way we played, particularly on defense. On the way to 8-0. We're upset because we don't want to win another Big 12 championship and get into the playoffs only to get slaughtered again. We've only been slaughtered once.
Yeah, twice.
The Alabama game.
I'm talking about USC.
Well, that was a long time ago, Rob.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't a playoff game.
And then last year,
that was year before last, Rob.
For whatever.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We only got slaughtered in the playoffs once.
Okay.
The Alabama game, we made a game out of it, but and then we have the squib kick. But I agree. That's a lot of people's concern is, hey, yeah, we're 8-0, but look at how we're playing. Who else are we going to beat?
Listen, if we go undefeated, playing like we're playing right now, make it to the playoffs and get slaughtered, I will still be happy with that. I mean, I won't be as happy as a puppy, you know what I'm saying? But making the playoffs and getting beat is better than playing in the butt stripe bowl.
Right. True. It's better than being Texas.
It's better than being Texas.
Yeah.
It's better than going to the Cheez-It or,
Yeah.
Slap Your Mama barbecue sauce bowl or whatever it is that, all the loser teams go to. If we go undefeated and we go get slaughtered in the playoffs, I'm still happier with that than I am going, 8-2 and going to the whatever bowl.
Yeah. Good point. Tyler Smith 6 says, because our defense plays like ass. We can't cover anyone in the secondary, and we don't blow out teams that we should be blowing out. We're the luckiest 8-0 team in the college football playoff era.
But we are 8-0.
Yeah, we are 8-0. And I Boom I Soon responds, so you're mad that the team fights well through adversity. If they blew every team out by 21 plus points this season, it would be boring. They're earning their undefeated record week by week. Which would you prefer, Rob?
Listen, when we were up 63-14 against Texas,
that was the greatest thing.
I may have been in that game more than I was any other. I mean, I don't get bored when it's 63-14.
Yeah.
I'm like, score again.
Yeah, score again.
So that doesn't sit well with me.
We're still mad at Samaje Perine for taking a knee at OSU.
Yeah, that's anti-Sooner right there, taking a knee against him. You run that up.
Yeah.
And then you put the ball in his face.
No. Braden White, Braden YouTube says, I'm proud of this team being 8-0. What infuriates me is that we know that what the defense should look like. They showed us last year and what they could and should be. They need to get back to that point. I agree 100%.
I agree. And like I said earlier, it feels like the defensive line will take, if they play 3 plays, they're taking 2 of them off.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look like there's any push or movement or attempt to get in the backfield.
Yeah. Rob Rich 405 says, I'm just going along for the ride. I see a team that plays down to their competition with some key injuries. The youngsters are getting game time reps, which isn't a bad thing. With Jalen Redmond back, I think the D-line will click. Dude is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a good point because you've seen that we played down to a lot of competition,
Yeah.
and then we had to come out and scurry up some,
Yeah.
some defense and some offense to win ball games. So I think there is something to that.
Yeah, I agree. Grant Gaither, as a Nebraska fan, of course, I have a soft spot for Oklahoma. From an OU perspective, I get the general feeling of relentlessness, restlessness, and angst. But boy, would we love to have your problems right about now. Go Big Red and Boomer Sooner. It's a Nebraska fan.
Well, how would Clemson like to be 8-0 right now?
Yeah, and you know, like you said, I saw the other day. Blah 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 blah. Nebraska has lost to Oklahoma, Michigan, and Michigan State by a combined total of 13 points. Okay. Lost to Michigan and Michigan State by 3 each. So Oklahoma has beat them worse than their own conference did. And Mr. Gibbs also replies to that because he's a fan as well. Imagine my perspective of being a fan of both teams. I get the endless disappointment from Nebraska losing close games to good teams because of mistakes and the constant frustration of OU failing to put away from inferior competition.
I mean, a win's a win.
Yeah. The good, the bad, and the ugly truth. Bill PRI 411-73844 puts on Twitter. A win is a win, but BUTT. That's what we look like. But
okay, I'm like, I don't know where this is going.
Well,
I mean, there's a whole lot of teams out there right now that would sure like to look like but.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Boo Fatty. Boo Fatty 2, excuse me. There appears to be, wait a second, Boo Fatty, that means there's a Boo Fatty 1 and a Boo Fatty out there.
Well, you'd think so. And I mean, how far does those numbers go? I mean, is there a 3, 4, and a 5?
Probably.
Okay.
There appears to be a total lack of leadership. At first, I thought it was just Rattler and partial blame on the coaches. After KU, it seems entirely on the coaches.
Right. Well, there's a team in Alabama that would like to be 8-0.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still going to make the playoffs, right? They're not keeping Alabama out if they're whatever and 1. But I guarantee you, Nick Saban wants to be 8-0 right now.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't matter how he got to 8-0.
Here's one of the places I was going to go. He brings up a good point, Robin. I want to ask you about it. Lincoln keeps saying we're close.
Okay.
We're close. You don't see it. You don't see it, but we as coaches see it. We're closer than what you think we are. You watch the films, and we're just outside here. You ever heard Nick Saban say we're close, da-da-da-da-da? Nick Saban comes out publicly and says, we were asked today. We got it kicked. It's not acceptable to play this way, and we're not going to play this way again. Does Lincoln need to publicly criticize his team to get their attention instead of playing this softball coach? And no offense to Patty Gasso. When I say softball, he's throwing softballs to the media going, guys, we're close. We're close, instead of going, you know what? Alex Grinch calls the defense, and him and I are having a meeting today because his guys are playing like, oh boy said a while ago, ass.
Here's what I got to do. I got to believe in my coach. If he says we're close, then I got to have hope that we are close. Because Terry, we have seen that.
I understand what you're saying. Well, okay, but my question is, should he decide to go, you know, I don't agree with what you're saying. He's saying we're close, so I'm going to believe him. We're close. There's going to be something click. It's going to click. But when I'm saying maybe to get it to click, should he go, look, I've been telling you it's close. The reason why it's not close is Bobby, Ralph, and Ed on this play, on the scoring play, were over here picking their nose. Okay? When he knows we've worked on this 14 times this week, he was supposed to be right where that guy was at. That's why that guy scored on that. The reason why we are playing in these close games is these guys are not working hard and executing during the games. They're not putting together what we. Should he ridicule this team publicly to maybe wake them up? Because he never has.
No, I don't think so.
Works for Nick.
I think he does that probably in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I think that's
okay. How in the locker room did anybody come out of there at halftime whelps on their back and faces.
Well,
Because I'd have been in there with a baseball bat. What the hell? I would not have. Sorry about that.
I think there's probably multiple things going on there. I think that they're out of place. I think maybe they're not being coached to be in the right spot to begin
Yeah.
with, because nobody can be that out of place when Kansas goes 5 plays for 90 whatever yards on you.
Yes, they can. We proved you can. That's my point. Is why didn't you say, yeah, this drive right here, this was Kansas, went down and scored on 5 plays on a defense full of 3, 4, and 5-star, mainly 3 and 4, but some 5-star.
Right.
Superior athletes. This is not acceptable. This will be fixed this week. This will not happen again. I promise you.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's not calling certain individuals out because it's not just on that individual.
Right.
I mean, yeah, at some point.
Well, but I'm just saying on the whole defense. Or on the whole team, you know. I mean, you know, he kind of tongue in cheek, you know, on the coach's show that one time is today practice wasn't fun. You know, I'm just saying maybe to get that out of him, to get it to click. You know, coaches chewed us out, but you know he says we're close on TV because I'm telling you, you heard Gabe say it last night at the coach's show. He listens to this stuff as a player. He doesn't tell you they don't hear it. Bullcrap. They hear it and they listen to it.
Sure they do.
They hear their coach going, yeah, he's chewing their butt at practice and so on and so forth. But in the media, they're hearing, we're close, guys. Man, we're this.
Well, I think he believes that, or
Yeah.
he wouldn't be saying it, I think.
But I just think maybe his approach needs to be, we're close. I know I keep saying that, but you know what? These guys have got to start taking responsibility.
We're close if number 40 can just get his
I'm
crap
not saying-
together.
I'm not saying call out the player, but the players. You know, our defense, for crying out, like you said, for, you know, here, Casey Lynn, who follows us on Twitter, she puts, I'm not upset. I'm simply embarrassed that we barely beat Kansas. Kansas! Exclamation point.
Right.
That's what Lincoln should do, is that we barely beat Kansas. We barely beat Kansas. Like you said, Rob, it took Sooner Magic to beat a terrible
Terrible.
Kansas team.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you know what, though? There was a point there that they could have just laid down, and they didn't. Right? They could have just said, well, hell with it.
Oh, I think they did lay down where we're still just that much better than Kansas.
Well, you may be right.
They were like, damn, we were going to lose this game today, but I don't know. It's frustrating for me, and I know for you, because we're sitting here seeing the same, you know, we're the 168th, or no, the 68th ranked defense. Where did my notes go?
168 out of 130.
We are, oh, yeah, I put them on my computer. We are the 68th ranked defense, 382 yards per game, 5.79 yards per play, and 3 TDs per game, 21 points a game. Remember when we used to go, geesh, I wish we could put up, just hold teams to 21 points. Well, now we are, but our offense isn't scoring.
Oh, yeah, we're not scoring 63 anymore. Right.
So-
I think we will, though, Terry, don't you? Don't you think the offense is going to come along and we're going to start putting up some – maybe
No.
not this year, but I feel like
It has to be this year, Rob.
well,
I can't keep saying next year.
I can't either. I'm just saying Caleb obviously shown in the Kansas game that he's still got a lot of developing to
Yeah.
do. Because if he just checks that ball down to Kennedy Brooks on that play that was intercepted,
Kennedy's still running.
Kennedy he may go for the
Yeah.
and you know what? At that point, we may wind up blowing that game out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying sometimes a game can really be broken out by like, okay, here we go. Now let's just steamroll this group.
Yeah.
And we could have. I'm not saying we would have, but instead of throwing an interception right there, he throws it to Kenny Brooks, and if he doesn't score, he's going to go for 20, 25, 30
Yeah.
because he was wide open, right?
Yeah.
Now that's a ball that Spencer definitely checks down. Am I right? So where's the uproar? Oh,
So
God,
now you want
now I want Spencer back.
Spencer back, huh?
Well, you know as well as I do, he would have checked that ball down.
Yeah, and you know as well as I do, he'd been chewing it on Kennedy Brooks for getting tackled behind the line on 4th down.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right on that. He would have been 10 yards away, going, "What are you doing?" He wouldn't have pulled that ball out and went for the first down. No, That's not who he is.
Yeah, that's not who he is.
But that's what I'm saying. That's who Caleb is. And not only that, he's a leader and he's a dynamic player, but he's still got some work to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's see here. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the old Texas Tech matchup. Texas Tech fires their coach, Matt. Is it Matt Wells?
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Wells. Fired him Monday, Tuesday, something like that. You know what that means, Rob?
Means they're going to come in here and play like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, like I put on Twitter, the 72 Dolphins. We're facing the 72 Dolphins on Saturday.
Well, what happens is the dadgum new coach comes in and he's going to reevaluate everybody.
Yeah.
So nobody's got a starting spot
Well,
anymore. So you really got to show out.
Sonny Cumbie is the
Well,
interim coach, so
right.
he's
he was
been there.
OC.
Yeah, and he's there's not going to be much change. I mean, they can't. I mean, come on, you can't change much. But here's the thing: have you heard the quote rumors, whatever quote rumors, the rumors that are out there as to why Matt Wells got fired?
No, I don't think I have.
You have not. Well, let me enlighten you
Wow,
and all
please do.
those others who haven't heard it.
So we're spreading rumors now?
No, I've heard it on Chris Plank show.
Mm.
I heard it on Teddy Lehman show.
Okay.
Notice folks who we listen to. I think I even heard T-Row talk about it. Is the word is they fired him before the Oklahoma game because if he by chance beat Oklahoma, okay, which is not all
It's
the
50-50 right now.
yeah, and wins a couple more key games, they couldn't fire him.
So they wanted to get rid of him.
They wanted to get rid of him.
Right.
And for no other reason than it really apparently wasn't the hire that they wanted in the first place. They were wanting the Houston coach who he beat this year.
Well, the thing is Tech is a whole lot better team than Kansas is. Whole lot
Really?
better. Yeah, they are. They can throw the ball. Well, I guess Kansas can too, but
Well, anybody can against us. Come on, Rob.
well,
You and
make
I
a
could
lot
get
of
out there.
quarterbacks look like Heisman Trophy guys, don't we?
Yeah, I'm trying to find here Texas Tech. No, they beat Houston. That's Houston's only loss.
Yeah, Houston's
38
decent.
38-21 they beat Houston.
Mm-hmm. They're going to score some points.
Texas hung 70 on Texas
Well,
Tech.
I'm not saying their defense is great, but
I'm
offensively
just
they
saying.
can score some points,
They beat West Virginia at West Virginia.
which is a pretty good win. West Virginia's
Yeah.
playing some good football.
They beat Kansas 41-14.
Well,
But
that just keeps getting more embarrassing, doesn't it?
yeah, then they beat Texas Christian, TCU. I mean, they lost to TCU. TCU scored 52 points on them. If we don't score
We better
60 points on them, let's go between TCU and Texas and hold them to, Texas, let them score 35, TCU 31, 28. If we don't win 62-38, there's something wrong with this team.
Oh yeah. Well, I
At
think
home.
we already got a pretty good idea that something's wrong,
Yeah.
and we're just hoping that something clicks and it's right. I mean, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
We're hoping the defense is like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Oh, you mean I'm supposed to be aggressive and mean to people?
Next play, I'm doing that. And then all of a sudden, we hold Tech scoreless in the first half, and they get a late, touchdown, and it's 63-7.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna be like, there they are,
Yeah, thank you. And then nobody will be griping next.
and then we'll go, hey, it clicked.
Yeah. Because you notice, I mean, for 2 weeks there, nobody griped. Well, it was really a week. Because Caleb played well. All the talk about him and him and Spencer the week before, it was crazy. And then we had a week of serenity. And then we play like we did against Kansas, and I don't like the term Sooner Nation. Do you know why I don't like the term? I've told you this before.
No, go ahead and do it
Howard
again.
Schnellenberger is the one who came up with
Oh.
Sooner Nation.
I don't know if I believe all that, but here's the thing, Terry.
He did.
If
I was
it-
here when it happened.
If at halftime Texas is leading us 45-14, there will be a mushroom cloud.
Texas Tech, you mean?
Who'd I say?
Texas.
Oh, yeah, Texas Tech. If they're beating us at halftime 45-14 or whatever, There's going to be a mushroom cloud of Sooner fans going off in that stadium.
Oh yeah,
Just telling you.
yeah. Oh, I don't even know what to. I don't. Do you remember the days just a few years ago when we'd go, oh, we're going to score 55 at least. Just depends on how much our defense can hold them to.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta say with Caleb in there, it's better. We're going to score 45 to 55 points against everybody the rest of the way.
Whoa. That's a bold statement, Cotton.
Hey,
OSU is playing some really good defense, and so is Iowa State.
Okay. OSU barely beat Texas, so did we. So they're not that much better than us. Iowa State barely beat. I'm concerned about those are going to be good games, but I honestly think I still do. I think we're going to win the Big 12. We're going to go undefeated.
I'm happy about that.
And this is something I was going to bring up that we talk about. We were talking about it last night at the coaches show. No loss Oklahoma. Bama's going to get in ahead. No, they're not. There is not a world out there. A universe out there that an undefeated Oklahoma does not get into the 14 playoff. Blinken Riley agrees with me on that. Him and I had this discussion once. An undefeated Oklahoma, it's money.
No, I get it, and I would agree with you, but it's not 100%.
If Oklahoma and Cincinnati are both undefeated, who gets in?
Oklahoma.
There you go.
Here's what I'm saying. If we win out, let's just say we win out, but we win out the way we're winning right now. We just look,
and it's down to let's say Ohio State. Let's say it's.
Let me finish.
It's Georgia, Cincinnati, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Ohio State. Those are the 5 teams.
Let's say Georgia wins out like they've been doing, but it comes to the SEC championship game, and let's just say they barely beat Alabama by a field goal.
Okay.
They are still a very attractive one. Not only just the money, but it's still
Georgia?
a good football team.
Who, Georgia or Alabama?
Alabama.
Yeah.
That would be their second loss.
They got 2 losses. They're done.
Well, you say that.
They're done.
I'm just telling you.
They will not get in over a undefeated Oklahoma team.
Do they get in front of an undefeated Cincinnati team?
Probably. I mean, that happened to TCU and Baylor.
If we keep winning the way we're winning,
it will not happen to Oklahoma.
It's possible.
It will not happen to Oklahoma.
Well, I want to agree with you wholeheartedly, but I can't. I'm like 90%.
We are
92.5.
94?
93. I'll give you 93. Okay, 93 and a half, but that's as far as I'm going.
92. No, but my point, we are. We're gonna go undefeated through the season.
Okay.
Which is a good thing. My problem is I don't know. Depending on, maybe it does click this week. Maybe the week off. Do you buy what Lincoln said last night?
Yep.
Weeks off, we don't care about them.
I think that he thinks that, but I'm telling you, we've been playing for 9 straight weeks. They need a week off.
Yeah. Maybe it clicks on the week off. Maybe when they come back and we go down to Baylor. And then we got Iowa State, and then we go to Oklahoma State, and then God only knows who we play in the Big 12 championship game. I think Oklahoma wins out. I think the Oklahoma State game is going to be tight. Maybe. The Iowa State game because Campbell has Lincoln's number,
Yeah, but we have Gundy's.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Baylor going down there. Who knows? But I think we win out, we win the Big 12 championship, and we get into the playoffs. Do we win a playoff game? Hey, we need to be 2 or 3.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We need to be 2 or 3. That way, if it is Cincinnati, we get to play Cincinnati. If it is Ohio State, we get to play Ohio. We don't want to jump on Georgia immediately.
No.
But
here's kind of the way I feel about this, Terry. If we somehow can get by Tech, right?
You just said somehow get by Tech, Rob.
I know. I thought we were going to blow out Kansas.
You thought we were going to get blown out by Texas.
I did think we were going to lose to Texas, right?
No, you thought we were going to get blown out.
38-28 is not a blowout.
You said we were going to get it handed to us.
Well, that's a handing. But if we can get by Tech, get the week off, get 2 weeks to prepare for Baylor, build some confidence, everything could be great.
Yeah.
if we lose to Tech, they might put their heads down and they may lose to Oklahoma
I
State,
agree.
Baylor, and Iowa State.
Yeah, I agree. We could go, but hopefully Lincoln, the guys, got it figured out like they said they have. They know how close they are. They're going to close that gap this week and do it.
Well, and we're banking on some things. We're banking on them figuring out some stuff defensively, and then we're banking on us playing up to the competition that the next 4 weeks brings. Not so much Tech because, like you said, Texas put 70 on them.
Yeah.
So surely we can, get very close.
TCU
to that.
put 52 on them.
So, but Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Iowa State, they're not going to give us the game. We're really gonna have to play to beat those 3 teams. So we'll see.
We will see. Well, guys, thanks for all the comments on Twitter. I hope you enjoyed us reading them and discussing them. We agree with most of you. I don't think we disagreed with anybody.
Not really, no.
There wasn't much highlights. There wasn't much fun to talk about this game this week, but hopefully that our Sooners will turn it around. And
it was fun talking about their fans coming in and then going, "Oh, damn, we lost anyway." Right?
Yeah. I had to walk a mile for this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see. It's going to be another fun-filled weekend in Norman. Then we get to take a week off, but we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see this offense. I really want this defense to turn around and play to the capabilities I believe that they have on that.
I want to see my Sooners dominate
somebody.
I don't want to just win. I want to dominate somebody, not Western Carolina. Right?
Right. You are correct.
So we win this weekend?
Yeah, we win.
Okay. What's the score?
I'm going to say 55-21.
So they're only going to score 21 points on us.
Hey, that's what we're giving up every game. Why would that change?
All right.
What's your score?
Well, until the defense proves something else, I'm going to say 45-35. I think we win, but I think they give us a little scare.
So you don't believe they're going to run the ball? They're just going to throw it?
Us or them?
Them.
No, they're not going to run the ball. Why would they run the ball?
Here, Texas Tech, do not take our advice. Run the slant.
No, take our advice. Run the ball every play. Every play, give it to your running back. You'll be fine.
If they run, I don't know why people don't just line up and run a slant every play.
Every play.
Every play.
Stinking every play. Or a 10-yard curl route. Or they could kneel down, Terry, on first and second down and have 3rd and 15. They're money.
Yeah, 3rd and 15. And then if they get it to 4th and 5, go for it.
Well, yeah. They got that all day.
Oklahoma, they talked about this last night. Oklahoma has had people go for it 23 times this season. I think they've made it 10. Okay. And Lincoln brought up a good point. He goes, that's what I'm telling you. That's more than any other. He goes, look, nobody else has teams going for it.
No.
It goes, a lot of it is we put ourselves in bad position. Yes.
But still, a lot of teams, even if it's 4th and 1, they don't go for that.
Yeah. But he goes, that's being at Oklahoma. They think they got a opening. They're going to try to take it.
What's the over and under on handoffs to the running back by Texas Tech this weekend? Is it 10 or less, or 10 or more?
It'll be 10 or more.
They're gonna hand off.
They've got to try to establish a running game. But when I say 10 or more, I'm talking like 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah. 15 under 15.
I'd
no.
probably have to agree with you. I want to say they're gonna. If we stuff them early, it might sneak close to that number. So.
The other thing is they don't want to get in a shootout with us.
I don't want to get in a shootout with them.
Yeah.
I hate shootouts. You hate shootouts.
Yeah, which you saw my tweet. I tweeted out there, and people wanted to argue it. I'm sorry. The OU Texas Tech game with Baker and Mahomes is the worst game in the history of bad games.
I don't know, Terry. Remember that West Virginia game? I know we've talked about this before. Where what's his name? Tavon Austin?
Yeah, but no,
he's still running wide open on us.
They don't celebrate that game. Every year on the anniversary
of this game, right.
ESPN to remember this magical night. That wasn't magic. That was arena football.
You bit off all your fingernails and toenails.
Oh yeah, we were at Buffalo Wild Wings.
I know.
Teresa was in the hospital. She'd been in the hospital for several days. She makes you come and get me to, take him to the game, watch the game. I come back. She goes, "Whoo, that was a good game, wasn't it?" No,
no, my head's still hurting from all the head shaking I did that. Oh Lord. Oh, Lord.
It was literally like there was no defenses out there on that field.
There's no secondary for sure.
Yeah, people. It was skilled. No, there was no skill to it. I could have stayed out there and thrown passes to those guys and scored.
Our wide receivers were wide open, and so were theirs.
Yeah, they still are from back then.
Like crickets. Nobody's even around me. Throw me the ball.
Oh, well, guys, that's our time, don't you think, Rob?
That's it.
We've had fun. Thanks for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. That's the podcast. Boomer Rob.
Sooner Terry.
Hey, hold on. Ho. Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Oh, Lord, Jesus.